And now, here is your host of Defender of the Republic Live, Kaity.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. I am not a tardy person. I just had issues with my computer again. So I tried to fix these things, but thank goodness I have a wonderful co-host to help me out here. So I am going to welcome one half of the BrainStorm podcast, Stormy J.
Well, hi. How
Hello
are you?
there. Good. Hold on. Did I get you in? Oh, hold
There you
on.
are. Can you
All
see me now?
Just making sure. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful to have you on the show with me. And I had
Absolutely.
the best time on your show.
Oh, thank you.
So we have a very special show tonight because I've got some great friends of mine who are wonderful patriots, and they have been, in my eyes, they are heroes. So I am super, super grateful that they have joined us tonight. And Stormy, you are the perfect co-host for this show because you know exactly what these guys are talking about when they're over my head. So I'm glad that you're here. But before I welcome them, I wanted to say thank you to the audience for being there. Everyone out at YouTube, Rumble, and Pilled. Make sure you give us a loud and clear if you can hear us well, if you see everything well. So now I'm going to bring in my wonderful guests, patient advocate Bulldog. I'm going to bring in Dr. Will and Bulldog. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi
I'm so
there.
happy to have you guys here.
Howdy.
I've talked to you guys so much on the phone, and like seeing you guys in person is wonderful. So thanks for being here.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I mean, there is a lot to cover. So I've learned personally so much from you guys. We all go through different things in life, right? Like my daughter recently, had infections and all of these things, and I didn't know what to do. Here in New Jersey, where I live, it's hit or miss with medicine, and you just never know. And you always need someone that you can trust. And, I've learned a lot from you guys. And I wanted to have you guys tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you guys are up to, because I am excited for them to meet you.
I think Micah's got to go first. I mean, because it all started with him and his calling.
Yeah, it was totally divine. Just like Defender, just meeting her. We were a part of a Patriot group locally. I never met Will in person. It was just on a chat with our other Patriot people, and this was right at the beginning. It was 2021 actually, and it was around September. And my background of 19 years in respiratory care, hospital-based DME, but I'm not in that anymore. But so that's my background. And when all this was going down with the pandemic, we had a mutual, not Will, but a mutual friend. I just met. I didn't even meet these people, actually. It was a mutual friend I was at a football game, and I just happened to go over and talk to them. And we knew this gentleman. He has 15 children. He was in his 40s, and he was in the hospital. And they were going to kill him. He was like 15 liters of oxygen, just really high flow. Situation. So I was to be able to get the number of the wife that night, and the next day I asked, "Do you want me to go with you?" And that was a 9-hour ordeal in one of the largest hospitals in the country, Fairfax Nova, in Fairfax, Virginia. And we spent 9 hours in the lobby trying to get him out. We got him out, but in the meantime, before that, I'll back up. We were talking to Will on the phone. I was texting him. I knew he was a naturopath. And by the way, this Dr. Will, he's a naturopath. He's not a medical MD. And that's one eye-opening experience that I've had in this whole ordeal. it's been unbelievable. So that started our relationship. You know, I was on the phone with him. You know, I was asking about these different drugs. They were trying to give him what was it? Will, I can't, one of the 9 drugs. And
One of the remdesivir family of killers.
yeah, so this hospital did the clinical trials for remdesivir right in this hospital, and they were trying to get this guy to take it. And he knew he's like, I'm not going to take that. So they gave him another one, Zumba. That's what it was. And we were looking it up, and I was texting Will back and forth, and we were on constant phone call with Will all the way down this 2-hour drive to the hospital. And that was the start of, you know, we got him out. This guy was, I mean, he was critically ill. And with the naturopath, total naturopath, except for ivermectin. I mean, it was unbelievable. And he's back to health, you know, doing his job. And it's just, you know, it started there. And we've been in over 42 states. My wife thought of the bulldog part. It was patient advocate, and we put the bulldog because I would always get on the phone with the families. This was in 42 states, and say, who's the bulldog in the family? And this is how we got started. And it was just with Will and I, and it was totally divine thing. And then here we are today, and that's how I got with Defender. I mean, it was just unbelievable thing with her. So she can do that testimony, but that's a little bit of the background.
I think what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing. I mean, you could be doing anything else, be anywhere else, but you're choosing to help save people. And I think that's incredible, because most people just kind of go about their business and they don't think about others. But I will tell you, there's been times when, you know, what people are used to doing is they get sick and they run to the hospital. And that's just how we were conditioned. And, you know, you find yourself, once you're in a hospital, this happened to my grandmother, which is, I believe, how we first met, where, you know, you're kind of stuck there. And they tested my grandmother when she had a stroke for the C word, which I still think triggers some of these platforms. But she had a month before. So when they tested her for it, she didn't have it. And we didn't tell them she could be tested. And my mom, who's her advocate, legally her advocate, was not allowed to see her because she's quote unquote tested positive. And at that point, I was afraid because she doesn't know what's going on. She needs an advocate. She shouldn't be in the hospital without one. So I was very lucky to you know, stumble upon you guys and be able to figure that whole situation out. And thank God my grandmother is home and okay. So thank you for that.
Man.
Welcome.
Yeah, that was, I just happened to see that on your channel, and that's when I just reached out, and, you know, it was just a God thing. You know, all these experiences are totally God things, I believe. And yeah, I mean, I would have never been in this 3 years ago. I'm like, are you nuts? You know, this is crazy, you know? So, you know, I was pushed into it and here we are.
Well, divine intervention for sure.
Yeah.
Dr. Will, you got to meet my grandmother.
Yes, I did. She's a cutie.
99 years old. It's incredible.
Yeah, so I've been, just a little background. So I've been smuggling stuff into care facilities since the 90s, and busting people out since the 90s, VAs, old folks homes, many different medical establishments. I've been carried out in cuffs. I've been escorted out, manually, being forceful and voluntarily leaving on my own to avoid being shot. So I've been in this a while, and so it's just kind of old hat. And when all this went down, being toe to toe with a couple of police department, I don't know, with their rank, you know, they were officers on duty, and being told to my face while I was advocating that we don't have any rights. None. All the law enforcement is going to listen to is the care provider, the person with the allopathic license. We as a customer, we're totally victimized to whatever that licensed terrorist has, whatever he says. Okay, it's been that way since the year of 2002 when I had a run-in myself, I had one of my youngest son had some problems, and out of desperation, because I wasn't getting any help in the natural world, I had to run in to go to the hospital. And at 2 in the morning, I tried to leave with my son because I did not want to participate in their madness. The deputy, actually 3 of them, drew their guns on me in the entrance pathway, leaving the hospital. And that's when I began to be educated about the system. And today it's worse. It's just as bad, if not worse. And that's across the board now. I mean, we are in medical martial law, medical military martial law right now. I'm actually in the car. I was inside. We had a meeting, a Patriot meeting, and we were talking with one of our senators here in West Virginia, who is clueless. He is totally clueless of what and he understood what some of the things that I was saying and questioning him about. But these legislators are, for the most part, either they're clueless or they're selectively clueless. I don't know the whole thing, but the situation we're in is grave. Very grave, very, very not good, because the Department of Health right now says, and this is all 50 states, what we can and can't do. And they're linking up with the WHO, the World Health Organization, and we are on the edge of absolute tyranny.
This, Dr. Will, I mean, Stormy, are you in what you've seen, do you feel as though people working in medicine are aware of what Dr. Will's talking about?
I would say it's probably 50-50. There are some people that noticed some protocol changes around COVID time, especially when it comes to respiratory care. And Bulldog could probably speak more to that. They completely changed all the protocols. We had no training on remdesivir. We were just told to give it, to follow the order. There's a lot of staff pushing back against the system, and as a leader, it is super difficult to support, because above the director level, it's like you're under their thumb. And Dr. Will has it right that if you push back, and even watching physicians, there's some physicians that were pushing back. One, I know one physician, he would never wear a mask, even though we had the mask mandate. He was taking care of some of the sickest COVID positive patients that we had on ECMO, and he was in a crashing patient's room. Everyone was all garbed up with masks and face shields and sterile gowns, and he's in there just as regular scrubs going to town switching out lines. And the administrator pulled him out, and he goes, "You're not going to tell me what to do. This is my patient. I'm trying to save a life. I don't have time to put that suit on." So there's definitely people that see it, and several that are afraid to speak up. I mean, they are literally willing to take our livelihood away from us. And being on the front lines, it's scary for healthcare providers.
So, Dr. Will, can you tell the audience a little bit about the history of this situation and how we got here?
Well, it's fairly simple. 2006 and 2007, basically all corporate healthcare providers signed on. Bulldog can kind of go over this a little bit clearer. I don't know the specifics, the name of these documents, but they're all if you're in corporate medicine at the head, anyhow, you are under control. You're basically wrapped into and contracted with the Department of Justice.
Yeah, I'm chomping at the bit here. So,
hey, I'm letting go of the reins. You go ahead.
The American Medical Association is very powerful.
Yeah. So if anybody I know watching or subscribers are going to like, what are you kidding me? And we have the documents on our website, the Department of Justice documents. It was given to us by Todd Callender, and we post them on our website. You can go right there. And like Will was saying, the Department of Justice, all health facilities became a part of law enforcement. They incorporated that into the hospitals. So any health facility is a part of law enforcement. So just if you think about that, these police, the sheriff or whoever you call, because we've had that happen where families had called, and they'll come in and pull the loved one out before they'll pull the patient out. And because they have to do the bidding of the hospital. And Dr. Pete Chambers, Doc, We have him. He's our
Okay.
spokesperson. He, on his website, he has the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense, and that's why we say military medical martial law. The DOD, he has all the history right there on his website of how the Department of Defense is behind all of this. It's all been a plan. This has not happenstance. It was a plan for a long time ago. So this is the way they're going to, they got at the American people. It's not a kinetic war, is more what they could do is for our health, because everybody in America, we want to do what's right. We want to listen to our doctors, and it's been unbelievable on the phone at 2 a.m. And Stormy alluded to it, that you couldn't do your regular protocol. A nebulizer treatment, they would not give a nebulizer treatment or vitamin C. Anything a mother would give their child, they would totally deny it. I was on the phone at 2 a.m. to a doctor, and they would not. It was almost talking. I mean, we are in a spiritual warfare, I believe, and it was just like a demonic force, and we talked to family after family, and they had said the same thing. It was just unbelievable. They were going to stick to their protocol, the remdesivir. After remdesivir, it just went down to the 9 other drugs, because people became aware of that. And okay, I don't want remdesivir. Well, let's stick midazolam in. Let's stick Zumba. Let's stick some of the other ones. I can't name them right off.
Barcinibble, and there's 11 of them altogether.
Yeah. So the protocol, hats off to that doctor said, I'm not going to wear a mask. They're few and far between there. And that's what we're in. We are in a war. We are in a total war. So, and that's why we say
somebody to do. Let's say someone, feels, or they, feel that they are having respiratory issues. Who do they go to?
Get a hold of us, Dr. Will.
That's why you guys are so busy.
Yeah, that's where we're on tonight. I know we only have an hour, but hopefully we can do this continued, and we can go down that rabbit hole. But that's where I wanted to get. We have so much that we can help humanity, because it's been kept from us for 100 years. They made these naturopaths. They ostracized them or killed them, and they called them the snake
oil salesman, certified.
Yeah. So now people their eyes are open. They're like, wait a minute, I don't want to go to this pharmacia doctor or MD that's pushing pharma drugs, because God intended us for these natural things to heal us. These other things, antibiotics, they just put a mask over it. I have learned so much of the last 2 years. It's been unbelievable. And Dr. Will can tell us about what's going on with the vaxxed and unvaxxed. That's even us. That's everybody. This is affecting everybody, not just the vaccinated. And the shedding is real. And that's what I want him to hone in on. What, like you said, Defender, what can people do? Where can they go?
Agreed.
Hey, Kaity, one of the things I'd like to add in the healthcare, if they even start talking about early intubation and sedation, walk out while you can, because the patient has to make the decision. Like Bulldog said, the patient has to get up and walk out. And when it comes to like home remedy stuff, I'd love Dr. Will's thoughts on this, but I've found through research and stuff, putting peroxide in a humidifier and put it beside your bed. It saved me, I don't know how many times, just a cup of peroxide per gallon of water. It increases your oxygen consumption, and it opens up your lung pores for some reason. It saved me and a lot of people I know multiple times. So
I love that you said that, because that's one of the protocols that you guys have, right?
Yeah, we use peroxide a lot. We actually got to the point where we're making it now in our facility. So we manufacture over 100 different things. Mostly all natural chemistry and herbal. I've been wildcrafting herbs since the early 90s. Now we have a team of wildcrafters that work for us, just collecting things in different parts of the country. So there's a lot of things. Respiratory was one of my main issues when I was a child, was respiratory infections. And so basically we just using stuff that I've been doing most of my life, and I was taught to me by Native Americans, as well as mentors of mine. And peroxide is one. So in a pinch, we're using the topical peroxide. We've had amazing results just with an oximeter reading is like 75, 74, bouncing down in the low 70s. And just by drinking a tablespoon in an emergency will pop that oximeter reading back up into the 90s. And just to oxygenate the body. And so there's a lot of triage we can do with this stuff you can buy, readily available. It's really off-label use, but in a pinch it works. And the ivermectin, I'm a firm believer in the agriculture stuff. I mean, my dad used to douse us when we were kids, and we had 800 cattle on the farm. And when they wormed all the cattle, all the kids and all the hired men and the hired men's family, everybody got wormed. That was just a thing, and now people don't understand that. We're able to see the parasites and the other infections in people's bodies now with the technology we have, because we have our own lab. I mean, we're able to scan people for over 250,000 different things from a hair sample and a picture. You don't need to.
So Dr. Will, can you talk about that? I think that's not on. Is that on the website right now? Because I remember that you guys had a separate site for that, and Bulldog just put that out recently on Telegram. So I don't know if you want to talk more about it.
Well, let's talk about just that alone. So we've been under some major attacks. They shut our processor down. They've pulled our videos off Rumble. They've hacked into our office computer and destroyed 2.5 years worth of files. So we're right now basically in the middle of rebuilding everything from the ground up. And on the new site that's going to be up here within the next week, we will have all this stuff online. Right now, you're going to have to go to our Telegram channel, Patient Advocate Bulldog, and access some of these things. There is some stuff online. We're all secure again, and all our payment, we've switched payment processors now. We're in a Patriot group now that has their own. So we're redoing what we can. So on that level, on the website right now, you cannot get the registration forms to have access to the scans. You have to go to the Telegram channel right now, or send an email to us at, isn't it info@patientadvocatebulldog.com, correct, Bulldog?
Yeah. Yep. That's
okay. It. Okay. So the technology, we have our own lab. I've been doing this for, we're over 15 years now. We're using technology that's been around for 99 years. It's not FDA approved, thank God. Everything just about we do is not FDA approved. I'm pretty proud of that, because we're anti-FDA in a way, because FDA is the Fraud and Death Association, and we're not a part of that. I'm actually not licensed by the AMA. I'm licensed by the PMA, the Pastoral Medical Association, which is a completely separate parallel universe where there's over 500,000 of us.
Well, that's the problem, is that people don't understand that everything they've known is a lie. They're living in a movie, right? and so for them, it's like, you need to be this kind of doctor, and the FDA has to tell me that this thing is good, and the government has to tell me what to do next. That's the problem, that people just are so used to their normal routines and being told what to do, that I think that it's hard to land on them.
Well, I liken it, it's a Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome, yeah.
We're suffering collectively as a society with the Stockholm syndrome. As collectively, I feel extremely honored and thankful and grateful that my mentors have enlightened me since 1978 is when I began my red pill adventure in 78. So I've lived the majority of my life just knowing that I'm being lied to, and just knowing that anything with an alphabet agency is there to harm me. And so I've just known that. And so people are just starting to wake up to these facts, that, oh my gosh, the AMA is bad. You know, the AMA is not there for our benefit. They're really there for the corporate interest. And so, you know, the FDA, oh my gosh, it's bad. Well, it's serving a purpose. It's all corporate run. And so if you just look at it without the emotion to it, the AMA and the FDA is there because people have been lied to and ill-informed of what they truly are. You know, thank Mr. Rockefeller over 150 years ago for creating this animal of today that we're just starting to see for as a society, as a general, that it's corrupt. And it's not there for our personal, our human interest. It's there for the corporate interest. And so, you know, I'm really proud to say that I am not part of that world. Mm-hmm. I'm over here in my world, and now I've got medical personnel that are coming over to question me to what are you doing? How can you do that? How can you do ivermectin without any problems? I'm like, well, I'm doing ivermectin for one, because it's really safe. For two is it works. And for three of, they don't have jurisdiction to tell me I can't.
Well,
and so,
I have a question because I'm playing devil's advocate here. Okay.
I see your horns. Go ahead.
Well, so people are corruptible. How do I trust, just like when I buy if I were to buy vitamins from Amazon, how do I trust that they're actually vitamins and that they're not going to harm me and that somebody didn't put something in there that's not what it says it is? So if I can't trust the FDA, who do I trust?
Well, I believe we have a God-given ability, and it's called discernment. And we are responsible for ourselves and to do our own due diligence. I've done my due diligence. I have spent over $500,000, verging on $250,000 to seek out, buy things, test things, look at things. That's why I'm a manufacturer, because most of the stuff on the market is trash at best, highly detrimental, and fatal at worst. And I don't trust those things. I have my own standards that I go by, which vary a lot differently than anything out there in the general market. So I've done my due diligence. That's why I do what I do. You have a thing inside of you, and it's called a spirit, or it's called discernment, or whatever you want to call it. Your job is to figure that out. We're responsible for ourselves. I am responsible for me. You are responsible for you. That's the beauty of living in this country. Okay, and so then, how do you trust? I don't trust anybody. That's why I do what I do. Because I've been harmed an awful lot by all of these systems, the AMA, the FDA, the medical system as a whole, the law enforcement. I've been harmed by all of these people in different places in my life. So then I've created my own world I live in. And I'm hoping that other people would see the value in that and to come and join our world, because our world is compassionate and caring. At the same time, we're realists.
Yeah, I trust you. I mean, I'm a testimony. I mean, I 100%. Till I'll die. You know, I trust Will, because he has a thing in his heart that's for healing people, and he's not there for the money. I mean, he would have got out. I know he told me a long time ago if it was for that, and he said that before. I just tried to walk away, but he couldn't. When a lot of the naturopaths sold out, Dr. Will did not. He is the real deal, and we are here to heal, to educate, and heal. I mean, it's just educate and provide a resource. And this is it. We have so much to help humanity. This is just a little bit of it. With what we have, the jab kit, the rescue kit, the respiratory rescue kit, the jab kit. I mean, that's what I wanted him to hit on, because people, they're like, you can't stop this, this genetic modification, this nanotechnology, the spike protein. They're telling that it can't be stopped. And that's what I wanted, Will to expound on.
Yeah,
and he's got a lot of experience in that.
Before you get into that, Dr. Will, I will say this. I mean, there have been articles that have been released, and I had this conversation recently with friends, how they are putting the mRNA into animals, right? So that it's in our meat. so I've had people look that up and they've seen it. How do they prevent against that? And should people who haven't been inoculated still be, make sure that they're protecting themselves because this stuff is being put into their food and in other ways to get into their bodies?
Well, let's start off with saying that the shedding on the unvaccinated from the vaccinated, the transmission, it's harming the unvaccinated as much, if not more. I just had a call today, actually 2 calls today from Army special operators. Their buddies are on our stuff, and they're encouraging each other to start getting our stuff more because their health is going downhill. And they're wondering, they're not vaccinated, but they're suffering from being around the vaccinated. I mean, after I leave the show here, I'm going to travel to another Marine's house. I'm making house calls and doing treatments and helping people because they couldn't come to me. And so the jab rescue kit, for instance, we put together. So maybe I should just back up a little bit. So we're able to monitor genes and DNA, RNA, whatever you want to, gene expression in our lab. And we've been reversing genetic modification in people for a solid 12 years, a little bit longer in the trials and the fine-tuning the technology. So it's not anything new because people have been eating genetically modified protein now since the 90s. It's in the food chain, and so this is really not new per se. This mRNA is relatively new on the scene, but it's still genetic modification. It does have a few twists and turns because they've engineered it to be more detrimental, as in it's harder to get the mRNA, getting the information, getting the cells to stop duplicating the modified protein once they start. It can be done. It is being done, but it's not as easy as taking an herb or drinking some tea, or it's much more insidious than that because the creators of this. So I think Malone is an absolute trash bag because he helped create this. There's a lot of
people would be surprised to hear that, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine. A lot of things I say is not pleasant to hear.
Well, Malone admitted to it. He admitted to creating it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not saying anything that's not been said. This is not mystery here, but I'm saying that these people that are, they've created this to do a certain thing, and that is to harm people and to take over.
So it's that simple. Dr. Will, I think the reason why people don't want to believe it is because they don't want to believe that there is such evil in the world and that people would want to do that, would want to harm so many people. Why would they want to do that? Why would they want to kill everyone?
Right. Well, it's that's because the Stockholm syndrome's real. The why is simple. It's about control, and the majority of people have not. I truly believe that the majority of people have not taken and bought into this vaccine. I don't buy the statistics. I'm out here seeing too many people, handling too many people in real life to think that the majority of the people have taken this vaccine. It's a bioweapon, call it what it is, but it's been designed though to harm through the shedding far more than the application of the injection. And we're seeing that. I mean, we haven't even set, how do you want to say it, the curve? We're at the bottom of the curve before the hockey stick heads north. Okay? We're just now seeing the transmissions around. I avoid people like never before because my inside of my nose tingles so bad when I'm around vaccinated people. I feel very privileged that I can tell because most people can't. I get a feeling down the back of my neck, and my nose burns like nobody's business. Like I just sniffed up a whole line of habanero pepper, and so I feel very, very good about that because most people can't tell. And I was just at an event here where I know everybody in the room, maybe the senator was vaccinated, but everybody else in the room was not vaccinated. But if I go to the bathroom and walk through the kitchen to get to the bathroom, I'm telling you, I'm start sneezing.
Wow. Stormy,
And
are you seeing that a lot where you're under the you're thinking that a lot of people did take this, and then you're seeing in your everyday life that they didn't? What's your reaction?
I can tell you, I know a lot of people that regret it after the truth has come, after some information's came out. I
Mhm.
can tell you that I personally helped probably close to 70 to 100 healthcare providers get religious exemption. I mean, I saw these almost essays written with biblical verses and everything, and they were denied. And what I put on there was two simple sentences: that I'm a vessel of God, and God put everything on earth that I needed to protect myself, and I do not need a man-made vaccine to protect me from a virus. That's
Amen.
all I put in there, and it was approved. These people wrote 2 or 3 pages and was denied. I'm like, and they said, you get proof with that? I'm like, yeah. You don't put in there if they're using fetus cells. Don't put all this other stuff in there. It's just God created everything you need, and you're a vessel of God. You don't need to put anything foreign in your body. So I would say, which I work in a pretty blue area, so it's probably higher than some areas. I would say it's probably 60 vaccinated, 40% not. But those that were not were they were shamed, so they were afraid to say anything. Um, and we were stuck out like a sore thumb. You could tell.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Will's right, especially in certain areas. It's probably 20-80, 20 vaxxed, 80% not. I could see that.
That's
Yeah.
surprising. It's incredible. And again, it's because of what we've been exposed to on the media, where everyone's doing it except for you.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
for your safety.
Exactly.
Yeah. Think about our military. That's
we work with a lot of military. I'm getting calls, at least 3 days a week, if not more. This week it's been more, but operators of all different kinds, from the cook to the special operators, SEALs, Rangers, just everybody. That I made him. The guy today is like, I made a mistake. I took the J&J. I feel bad. I got about 5 guys in my unit that are on your stuff, and they slipped me a note that says, you got to call this number and you got to talk to this guy now. It's starting to get around now. Because I was started to tell before. So the mRNA is a genetic modification. So they're putting a genetically modified material into your body that then hijacks your cells to create more genetically modified material. So they call it transcription. So basically they're putting a genetically modified protein into your body, then your body starts to produce that genetically modified material. That is the bioweapon. That is what they're calling spike protein. That is the bioweapon that then is spread. And then so somebody else, a non-vaccinated person, either breathes it in, it gets on them, it gets in them, and then the non-vaccinated person starts to produce the genetically modified material. So then they're infecting somebody else. Okay, we're picking this up. We're able to test for this. We're able to test for the difference between naturally occurring spike proteins, because there are, and the ones coming from the shedding. Okay, we're able to tell the difference, and we're able to see this. And so we've been getting with our own collection of data with the people that we're working with, we're able to say confidently now that our stuff is reversing the shedding as well as the vaccine, the people that have taken the jab. And so this is where I'm coming with our own data, with thousands of our own scans from our own people, from our own lab. We're not trusting any of this government labs or anything it has anything to do with any university, because they cannot tell us the truth. And so this is where we're at. And so we know, because it's really simple, and this may be anecdotal, but to me, it's a very simple. When you're suffering from pericarditis, you can't breathe, your heart's pounding out of your chest, there's no rhythm, it's up and down, and oh my God, I can't breathe, I'm falling down, I'm getting nauseous, I'm having, because I can't, my heart's not, all these things, right? When that goes away in 3 months, and all of a sudden you're back to normal, or at least close to normal, you can't deny, and the only thing you've done different is take these products. You can't deny that.
Well, I have heard the counter argument that people say that their symptoms are because of long COVID.
Mhm.
And that I get that all the time.
But
It's
that's the
long
same
COVID,
thing.
not the jab.
It's the same thing. Yeah, you're right. Long COVID. Where'd they get long COVID? Okay, an actual bioweapon that's been released in the environment. There's also a lot of shedding going on because long COVID wasn't a thing until after the vaccines were given.
Right.
It was a thing, kind of. There was slight variations. We know Dan the Messenger and a few others. Forrest Gump. There, he was one of the first rounds of long COVID, and I'm telling you that he is doing way better now since he's figured some things out with the red laser, with the red light cold therapy lasers, coupled with what we're doing.
Mhm.
I mean, that's that's what we're doing. I mean, we're doing it because it works, and our lab is verifying that it works. And so here we are. We have solutions that are viable.
Agreed. I know there are a lot of doctors out there who know that things are wrong, that there's a big lie out there, and they're afraid because this is what they've studied their whole lives, and this is, what they've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do to make this their career. So what are they to do? What is your advice to a doctor that knows that this is wrong and what they're doing is wrong? What can they do?
Oh, I want to answer that. Bulldog. Well, what my suggestion to them is they better wake up to the fact that they're going to be hung in Nuremberg 2.0, just like those Nazis in the 50s or the 40s. So either they're going to come to their senses and give up their money and give up their ego and really turn to humanity's side, or they're going to be punished for their arrogance and ignorance.
Amen. Right.
Yeah, if you think about the West Virginia versus EPA court ruling in 2020, when they went over the three-letter agencies that they do not have the power to set these regulations without constitutional oversight, these three-letter agencies could disappear overnight. So all the money they've put into the FDA, and they put out speaking points just like the mainstream media. They send out journals that they want you to say. And that was a pandemic during COVID, all these speaking points. And if you don't follow those speaking points, it's sad. They can take your license away in one board meeting, Dr. Will? I mean, it's a real quick vote and your medical license is gone. So
Good.
they don't have your back.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
So that's a really good point because Bulldog and I belong to that group that pushed West Virginia Attorney General to push that win for EPA with the EPA. That was a huge win. That is going to be used really soon in some really big offense because we're part of it.
And I think, Dr. Will, I heard you say something about bonds, and I had researched this, and that was one of the techniques I used to challenge. I sent an email to my one up and CEO and detailed the 10-point Nuremberg Code and everything they were doing against their employees, and I asked for their bond number, and I got absolutely no response.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, there's Bulldog and I are involved in it's a very minor movement in a way. There's not very many bodies involved, but there is a huge offense coming that is at the root of it. If the bond is very important because I'm a public official, or actually we'll call them a public servant, like they should be referred to. If they're going to break their oath, they're putting themselves in very big jeopardy to have their insurance bond taken away, and they're going to be taken to task personally as well as professionally. Yeah, and that is coming like a tsunami, extremely fast.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if they don't have a bond, the organization's liable, right?
No, they're liable personally.
Personally,
in their personal capacity as well as their public capacity. Yeah. We're proofing some of these concepts out right now as we speak, and like I said, there is a tsunami of offense coming, and it's not requiring a lot of people. It requires a lot of dedicated people that are not afraid of these people. They're afraid of these public servants. I just was in a meeting just behind me in this building where I was listening to one of our senators here in West Virginia. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, same old song and dance. I mean, I asked 3 questions. He was sweating. There was 3 other people asking their questions. Basically, that's all we heard. Wah, wah. It's a good old boys club. I don't care. It's a uniparty in West Virginia. It doesn't matter what your moniker is. If it's an R or a D, you're a uniparty. You're either in the good old boys club or you're not. There's a few good guys, but they're so cornered they can't do anything because they're in a minority if they're going to buck the good old boys.
Absolutely. I think that's what a lot of people are feeling out there, is that this big club is huge. How do you combat this big club when people are so easily corrupted? Are there more people out there that are like you guys?
Oh yeah, they're out here.
I mean, yeah, we are the white hats. I mean, I'll just say what Doc says. We
Exactly.
are the white. We have to stand up, just like Defender, Stormy. We have to do it. We don't have to, not wait. You just do whatever is before you. It doesn't matter if it's a small thing, or go speaking to your county commissioners, whatever. Get up and do it, because there's more of us than them. There's more of us than them. Totally.
So it's really like the kids movie called Ants. It's really like that, and I'm telling you that there's a few of us ants that have figured some things out that they don't know what's coming, and it's so simple and it's so effective. We got a little bit more proven on a few more things, and then it's game on.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do something, we've got all the governors of all 50 states signed on to this. We've got the entire Department of Health in every state that's wanting to align themselves with the World Health Organization, even South Dakota, even corrupt DeSantis, even Albert, what's his name in Texas. All these governors signed on to this, every single one of them.
Right. That's the thing, because people don't realize that it's still happening in every hospital. Like Will said, doesn't matter if it's Christy Noam, it's happening in every hospital. We even had one in her state. They wouldn't do anything. So the protocol is still the same. And what I'd say to your listeners, we can help. If you have, I did triage here at my house. We have people come in, we do nebulizer, we show them how to do the rescue kit. We had one gentleman, we were doing it for his father. His father was in the urgent care, but then he said, "Hey, I got kidney stones. What can you do for that?" He took Will's tea. In 2 days, his kidney stones was gone. We had that on our website. There are so many things that it's been kept from us. We don't have any idea. Just the dandelions that you try to get out of your yard, they're good for us.
Dr. Will did say to me, God gave us everything we need to heal ourselves right on this earth.
Amen.
He's absolutely right.
Amen. It's right there.
So I did have a question about the jab kit, right? So the jab rescue kit is amazing. And if these spike proteins are in the air, in our food, all over the place, do you have to continue to take the jab kit? How does that work?
I would, because you're continually being inoculated. You go to the store, we're going to this meeting, and there's 100 people in the dining area. You got to walk through there. Our stuff is designed to be ongoing, so I don't, meaning my wife and I have been on this stuff for decades, so it doesn't really, there's no negative side effect for long-term use, because it's really elements that should have been in our food and it's not. So there are some things you take medicinally periodically, but for the most part, there is no long-term negative side effects.
It's
Yeah,
incredible.
unfortunately, this is what we're living in. These things that are going against us, the food. I mean, we have a series on Rumble channel, how we are GMO'd. I mean, we're going to continue that. Hopefully, we're going to, it was like a 9-part episode, but you watch that. I mean, and Will talks about that. And this is what we're in. Unfortunately, it's not like you go to a doctor and say, take these couple pills and that's all you need to do.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we're not in that. That's not what we're in right now. So, and Will
Here,
can talk about Morgellons. I mean, Morgellons. I just read today, doctor put the study up. They're finding this in people that are unvaccinated. The graphene, they're finding that in their bloodstream. And it's AKA, it's Morgellons, and Will can talk about those structures there, and that's what the jab kit can remediate from.
Yeah,
And
Morgellons is. Oh, go ahead.
not only that, what the other thing I wanted to say is we are starting with the soils up. It's not only with our health, and that goes along with it with plant life. Dr. Will is doing that as well with the soils up to our health. And I know Pat Milicek, he had said it when he was on John B. Wells' show. And I think people know what Pat Milicek is. He's a, what is the kickboxer or UA?
MMA, I think, or MMA fighter. He
Yeah,
trains
yeah,
fighters.
yeah. He's a world champion. He trained 12 of them, and he's into some of the soil. He said that will melt your brain. He only talked to him for a couple times. He's like, will melt your brain. He's a national treasure. These are things that are meant for us that was taken away, and it's just those are things that are for us. So it all goes together. That the plant life, the soil life, it goes the same with our humans. And that's it. But anyway, I got off on the subject there. But
What's your guys' website again? The chat's at, and ask it, and I'll be happy to put it in the chat.
patientadvocatebulldog.com. Yeah, it's right on the patientadvocatebulldog.com.
Sorry, guys, in the chat that I can't see you because if I have that up, my internet connection goes out. So.
That
Stormy's got us.
yeah,
Thanks,
that
Stormy.
site is going to be. We're going to have our new website up. That's in the works, and hopefully we'll have that in the next couple of days, or maybe by Saturday or Sunday, hopefully. And we're going to be adding more things to that site. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. The things that we have to help change or help heal humanity. I'm so excited about the things that we have to.
I'll give you a little primer because I know we're just about out of time. So we have a water structuring unit that we build. That you put in line. There's no moving parts. It's solid state. And we just had some tests done in Oklahoma. So we were removing 100% uranium. We're removing lead, cadmium, arsenic, fluoride, things like that. So there's a lot of we've got a lot of R&D right now. We're just finishing up getting the data collected, and that we're going to be bringing out. So because I know the water things are a really big issue everywhere. And so there's just a lot from human health. We have stuff for honeybees that we've reversed colony collapse disorder. And my God, that's been a dozen years ago. So there's just so many things that we're all over the place. Kind of, it may appear, but it all pertains to the same thing. It's called life, and all of life is suffering from the same corruption.
Oh, we have the pet kit, the vibrant
Oh
pet
yeah,
kit.
we've got
I
the
didn't
same
realize you guys
things.
had that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for dogs and cats and cattle and you name it. We Amish. We have a lot of Amish and Mennonites that swear by our stuff for their horses, and so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
there's.
Ask Doc Pete and Joe. Joe's been taking it. You got to have Doc Pete on. He'll
he'll verify
attest
that.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely will. I will tell you, I've purchased extra stuff to have in my house in case someone needs it, because there was a week where I called you, Bulldog, twice because people came over my house and they're like, I'm going through this, or someone I know is going through that. And you're like, didn't you just buy this from us? And
Yeah.
I had something that would help them right in my cabinet. So it's important to have, because these are things you just never know when you're going to need them.
Yeah, it's difficult too for us to be trained to stop eating the stuff, the junk that is not good for us, and then cut out the grains, nuts, and seeds, and we have a Rumble video on that as well. That like what that's a whole other subject that we could go into.
That
But
I can tell you, I can talk to you about that forever because I don't get angry with me, but I had fast food twice this week, right? Because
yeah,
who has
it's hard.
time to cook? And that's the issue. And it's the life that we think we're supposed to live, and we haven't conformed to adjusting to what we should be doing.
Right.
That is the issue that people aren't realizing, and I myself am guilty of it.
Yeah.
I did have one more question, and I know we're already up at the hour, but if you would entertain this question, because I know that people have asked this before. Let's say someone is in a hospital and now they're saying we're going to do this protocol that they don't want to do. Is there a situation where someone were to get up and try to walk out where they would be stopped from walking out of a hospital?
Many times. We've had children. I mean, it's just
so yeah. I mean, as a patient.
So there's two classes of people that are going to be forcibly stopped from leaving, and one is a minor, and the other one is senior. Okay, and those are the two that you're going to have a really hard time leaving, because the medical professional will call CPS, and they will intervene. If you're the other from 18 to 65, then you best get up on your feet and get the hell out. Because if you voluntarily stay, you're subjecting yourself to whatever they will do to you.
Yes. Yeah,
are there any medical facilities that are Patriot run that aren't like this?
Not on the corporate level. Now, I can give you a little testimony because I'm going to have to go in a minute, but I just spent a little over 40 days at the University of Virginia with my wife. She suffered from some shedding and a release of some kind of toxin a year ago, and developed a growth in her abdomen, and had some major complications. I had advocate doctors with me, because in our group there's some really good medical professionals, 38-year oncologists, surgeons, and some other surgeons that are that we made the team at the UVA listen to. We threatened to leave several times. We had doctors, on our side advocating. I'm telling you from personal experience, I have stopped the people, the nurses and the doctors on the ground administering stuff to my wife 3 times. Otherwise, there was a really high potential to kill her with what they were trying to do. I slept in the room for 40 days on the windowsill. I was there 24/7 just about, and I'm telling you, the situation is grave. And I was the advocate, I was the power of attorney, and I had 2 medical professionals with AMA current licenses advocating with me for me. And we still caught them just out of normal screw-ups. And so I'm saying, if you can go in to get satisfaction, it is a job. I have never been so stressed in my entire life as watching for 40 some days as what I had to go through to get service for my wife's health. And I had a team of people at my side. And if you just go in there as a normal person for using their services, God help you. You got to go in with affidavits of power of attorney. You've got to go in with affidavits of directing the doctor what you will do and what you will not do. It was every single day that I was bucking them and forcing them and causing them tension to get services done that I wanted for my wife. And finally, we got a surgeon. Finally, we got lasers into the hospital. It was divine, so many things, the whole thing. But I'm just saying, if you're going to go into the hospital in today's setting, and I'm sure Stormy can attest to this as well. You've got to go in with a team on your side. You've got to go in papered up, and you've got to go in to tell them what you want. Do not let them buffalo you into anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've seen them stall people at the desk. They had their daughter in a wheelchair, and they stalled them. They could have just hurry up and went right out, but they stalled them and they called CPS. This isn't the evilness. And we've seen it over and over again. That's why our motto is don't go in, call us, reach out we have an advocacy right on our website, reach out, and then we can help. That's what I would recommend. Because I've seen too many. And the last person I spoke to, he was the last person to speak to me before they vented him. They had already given him midazolam, restricted, paralyzed his lungs, and he's like, I can't breathe. I mean, listen to this, folks. He was the last person that he was talking to me, and that will stick to me to the day I die. So. Yeah,
There's
so
numerous
those are the
cases
things.
like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Dr. Will, thank you for sharing that story. I know it's a very personal situation, but it'll go to show the audience that everyone goes through it, including people like us, like that, you guys have been through this for years, and you know a lot about this, and you still go through it. And I really appreciate having you guys here. I want to do this again because I know there's so much to cover about this, and I know the audience is going to have a ton of questions. And again, I want to reiterate where they can find you, and that way they can, get onto your website and contact.
One of the biggest questions I saw is a respiratory rescue kit good for somebody waiting for a lung transplant?
The simple answer is yes. There's some different usages and different things you can do, but the simple answer is absolutely yes.
Thank you.
Because it'll knock the infections down. It'll help to open the airways. The tea really is helpful for opening airways as well. That's just a simple, inexpensive thing too. But we've worked in all different kinds. We've gotten lots of people off lung transplant lists, kidney transplant lists, liver transplant lists. I actually had a guy that had a heart transplant. I got him off all of his anti-rejection medicine. Totally confounded the Cleveland Clinic, which was an awesome day. So there is potentials that are unheard of in the general public that we just live every day.
Yeah, heal cancer and so many things. I mean, so many testimonies we've had. Well, I wanted to say that if your listeners go to our website and they want to purchase anything, they can get 10%. They need to email info@patientadvocatebulldog.com. That's info@patientadvocatebulldog.com, and then we can give them their discount code, and they can use that to purchase anything on there.
That's incredible. Thanks for doing that, guys. If the world had more people like you, it would be a better place. I'm asking everyone in the audience to continue to pray that things get better, and keep these guys in your prayers, because what they are doing for everyone around them, they're heroes to me. And I'm really, really grateful that you guys were here with us and that you were able to share your story. And I want you to come back and do it again, because there's so much more to cover.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Stronger together, fellas. Stronger together.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Amen.
All righty. I got to run, so we'll talk. We'll do this again. Just let us know.
It was nice
to meet you, Dr. Will.
All right. Bye-bye.
And Stormy, if you could stay on for a little bit.
Sure.
While we wrap up. All right. So, Stormy, I wanted you to just let me know if there are any questions in the chat that I missed.
I think I asked most of them.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh, I'm supposed to remind you, my son just said that we'll give you the discount code tomorrow, I think, so you can post it.
Oh, great. So I will do that on Telegram, Truth Social, Twitter, Instagram.
I mean, we're off the air now. I can just give it to you because I think it's Defender 10. Let me see here.
There was
Okay,
one question, but I think we answered it, asking where the mRNA material came from. They asked Dr. Fauci, but it was Dr. Malone. Dr. Will talked about that.
So, Bulldog, is it available to put into the website at checkout?
yeah, I think. Let's see. Products want 10% off discount code that will announce live on the show. She will not give the code out name so we can get more emails. Okay, so just email. Yeah, so it'll be you. Yeah, I can ask him. It's Defender 10, so it would be at checkout. Let me ask him to make sure.
So I will put. So, Bulldog, you are on Truth Social at Patient Advocate Bulldog, Patient Bulldog on Twitter, and Advocate Bulldog on TikTok. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
have
You can
Instagram
call
now
him Mike.
too, right?
Yeah. And my son. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know anything about this stuff. So, I need so much help. He's like, don't post a lot on Instagram, Dad. It's just once every day or something.
Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it.
I'm like,
So
what?
funny. I love it.
All right. Well, I just follow you on Twitter, friend.
I love it.
Yeah,
So
we're not
all
on
of the
Twitter.
info's there. And Stormy, so you're at Stormy J on Truth Social. I tagged you improperly the other day. Rev was like, you missed the R.
Oh, no, I don't have the R. Someone already had it, so it's STOMY.
Oh, okay. So I had it right.
You had it right. Yep.
So I've got it wrong here. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to remove the R. So it's okay.
STOMY.
So I do have it right there. Okay, there it is. So there's Stormy on Truth Social, and you're at Abby Joe 734-02672 on Twitter. I'm going to ask you about that.
Account number 75. My daughter had to make it for me because all my my IP addresses were blocked. So
Got it. Got it.
that's the
That
why.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense. And then you're Stormy J 1.0 on TikTok.
Yep.
Awesome. Guys, I really appreciate you being here. It means the world to me to know you guys and to be in this fight with you. And again, continue to pray. We are headed towards a better world if we all work together.
Absolutely.
There need to be more of us.
It's Defender 10 and it's at checkout. Yep. Defender 10 at checkout.
Perfect.
Yeah, and hats off to you, Stormy. That's being a nurse and in that environment. Yeah, I'm a federal employee, and when you were talking about your exemption, yeah, I did the same thing. They had like 10 questions, we had to answer. It was and I'm like, I just answered the same. I just put my little short thing in every one of them, but my colleagues, I just said, don't do it. But, it was just,
the more you put on there, the easier reason they had to decline it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, ours didn't matter. I mean, they were still pushing it. Biden, still, now we're, it's, they took it down, but the deed's been done. So it's just unbelievable. But yes, prayer is a powerful thing, and that was when Will was saying that when his wife was in the hospital. There was thousands of people. They were so overwhelmed because they never realized all the people they've affected all over the world and the country. They really didn't, and they have. So it's just, we're blessed, and I'm blessed, to be here. So hopefully we can keep doing this.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, thank you guys.
Alrighty.
So next week's show, I will have a Voltron on. So I look forward to having her here.
Awesome.
And again, I can't wait to have you back. And I'm going to wrap up the show, and I will text you guys.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone on
Thank
YouTube,
you.
Rumble, and Foxhole. Talk to you guys soon.
See ya.